Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. This is your host Vaibhav. In today's session of GForex Indicators Explained, we are going to look at the properties of a very interesting and also bit complicated indicator. The name is Hilbert Transform Sine Wave. This is an indicator of the Hilbert Transform series. We will be looking at multiple indicators in this series. Today we will consider the sine wave formation and how we can take advantage of this indicator to see if the market is trending or things are simply sideways. Using the information, we can decide the strategy, what to do, how to take advantage of the trending scenario. So we will decide on the basis of on the basis of this formation to go for a trade or to simply sit on the sidelines. Let us now head to the JForex 4, the newly released trading platform from the Dukascopy Bank SA. Here is the Euro USD chart with each candle predefined at hourly. And on the lower side, this is Hilbert transform sine wave indicator in place. If you want to know how to add this, all you have to do is a quick search. If you type in Hilbert transform, all the indicators of this series will show up. Even if you simply type in Hilbert, here we have these multiple indicators. Some of the indicators we have seen earlier, like instantaneous trend line, and some others which we will see in coming sessions. Today is the turn of the Hilbert transform sine wave. And in my introductory note, I said that this indicator's use is a bit complex because we not only have to pay attention to the crossover, but also its recent price formation and how it is shaping up on the chart. We have to pay attention to not only the immediate formation but also its prior formation, so we can draw the inference of how things were and how things are. So using that, we can then expect how things are likely to be. So for example, if we look at the current price formation where the undertone has turned bearish with this Euro USD showing this decline of around half a percentage point from the day's high. But if you look at the overall picture, we can't really say that Euro USD has turned bearish, even though there was a substantial decline. The indicator is telling us that now things have started to go sideways for the Euro USD with bias being bearish, but this is not a bearish trend, and prior to that we had the bullish undertone with things turning bullish in first june first June's trading session, and prior to that we had this scenario where the underlying instrument was sideways, and prior to that we had this bearishness, and then again the things remained sideways for last couple of sessions. Then it started to turn bearish, and it didn't really remain bearish for much long. Again, it changed course, and we had these slight bullish bias in play in the early part of today's trading session, but then we saw that things stabilized around 1.077, and after long consolidation, the Euro USD has gone for a correction, and that is being mainly driven by the non-farm payroll data, after which the USD has strengthened across the board. It has gained substantially against almost all the major currencies, that is also visible for Euro USD. Now, to interpret these different phases, we have to pay attention to this combination of these two lines, the sine and lead sign. And not only we have to pay attention to this formation, we also have to pay attention to the relative placing, relative placement of how things are in what territory the output value is. And then this prior formation has to be kept in the mind as well. Now, if we consider this current move, we have the sign value which is less than the lead sign. Here, this time around, the sign is in negative territory and so is the lead sign, but the sign value is lower than the lead sign. But since both of these are in negative territory, that is considered sideways. If we had sign value on the lower side with lead sign on the higher side in positive territory, but if the lead sign were less than the lead sign, then we could have been in a situation to say that the trend is strongly bearish, but currently with sign and lead sign, both these values in negative territory, we can say that the bias is negative, but not the case with the overall trend. For bullish trend, all we need is the sign and lead sign value to remain in negative territory, but the sign value needs to be greater than the lead sign, and as and when things start to shoot up with these in the sign and the lead sign values, we take it as a marker of a strong trend starting on this hourly chart. And for a very trend, we need the decline to start in the sign and the lead sign, with the sign being on the lower side than the lead sign, with decline starting in. We get the inference that now the momentum is turning strongly bearish, and we can go for the initiation of the new trade. So that is the purpose, that is the basic interpretation of this indicator. And when the sign and the lead sign output values are in the negative territory with sign on the lower side than the lead sign, that is considered sideways with the bearish undertone. And when we have the sign and the lead sign in positive territory with the lead sign on the lower side compared to the sign, we consider it sideways with bullish undertone. So both these factors we have to keep in mind, and look at these absolute values of this indicator, and in conjunction with these absolute values we can then try to combine these data points and go for the initiation of the trade, or simply sit on the sidelines. If the underlying instrument is sideways, we can avoid going for the new trade and sit on the sidelines. So that also is a possibility. So this indicator is one such indicator where you get clarity on the price action. Not only we have the possibility of defining the trend in a bullish and bearish manner, but along with that we also have this third distinct phase, and in this third phase we also get to know the bias, because even if the momentum is simply sideways, we are going to have these scenarios where sometimes it is bullishly sideways or sideways with bullish information, and sometimes it is sideways with bearish inclination. So using these indicator, the Hilbert transform sine wave, you can make these criterion much more easy to understand and use on the chart. Now let me show you some examples of the trades being generated by these indicator. So if we consider the Euro USD's charting and the formation, the plotting of the Hilbert transform sine wave here, when we had the sine and the lead sign output values in negative territory with sine value greater than the lead sign, with fresh increase started in these output values of both these indicators, that would have been an indication of the bullish trend again gathering fresh momentum for the further move higher. And in a inward formation of this kind, you can also consider these scenarios where we had the sign and the lead sign output in positive territory, and from that we see this decline happening with sign output value being lower than the lead sign. So that would have been a case of Euro USD starting the fresh leg higher with the underlying momentum being strongly bearish. So that is the possibility which we could have been able to exploit. And in other scenarios where there is too much fluctuation and there is frequent crossover, we simply consider these scenarios sideways and you have to trade accordingly. Now let me show you the editing panel of these indicator and what we can do for editing these indicators input parameters. Editing, it is taking some more time. Okay, so here for this indicator, the applied price can be varied. We have this option of choosing the desired applied price. If you try out these combinations, you will see the plotting of these Hilbert transform sine wave is going to vary considerably, because depending on the kind of applied price you use, you will have slightly different interpretation of the price structure, and as a result of that, we are seeing significant changes. But overall, direction is going to be more or less similar. Only there might be some less lag or more lag in this plotting, but that's about it. Output, you can go for different color combinations if you are not really happy with the existing color combination. So all that options are provided for color coding these indicators output parameters. Styling can also be varied. We get this option of going for different styles and width increase or decrease. Transparency can also be increased if you think that the underlying indicator is looking too prominent on the chart. You can reduce the prominence by going for increased transparency. Levels, if you feel like, you can add level like 0, which will give you a clear-cut idea of where things stand for this indicator, but it is not going to serve much practical purpose. Maybe it will make the interpretation very easier. Advanced editing option, the calculate on new candle only. If you do that, you will have this value of the underlying instrument fixed once the new candle takes shape on the chart, and it will remain the same for the current candle. Highlight the time period zone. You can go for the highlighting option, and whatever is your calculation grid, it will be highlighted. You can further customize the calculation with the option of using the instrument from the chart, or you can even specify the instrument of your choice. Same thing applies for the candle period. You can use the candle period from the chart, or you can specify the candle period for the purpose of calculation of these indicator. Spread side workings are provided as can be. You can have this indicator available on all the candle periods whenever you change the chart candle period, or else you can even specify on which particular time frame you want these indicators to be available, and only on that time frame these indicator will be available. Base period can also be valid, but it is not going to make much difference to the indicator's output value. So that's all from my side for today's session, where we consider the concept, the basic concept of the indicator, which is quite complicated because this is a indicator based on the Hilbert transform mechanism, which has its origin in the physics. We haven't really gone into the technical details of this indicator. I thought that if we were to go into the technical details of this indicator, that this session would have got elongated quite a lot. Instead, we leave the calculation factor to the software. For us, the calculation of the indicator will be done by the platform. All we have to do is know how to interpret these signals, and that is what I tried. I tried to give you some examples of how to interpret these signals generated by these indicator and take advantage of those. So I think with that my job is done for today's session. If you have any query or any idea to share, do write to me in the feedback, and I'll be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous time ahead. See you next time around with an equally interesting indicator to work with. See you on Monday. Thank you all. Goodbye.